Hello everyone. Our session today of sports nutrition is about endurance and ultra endurance athletes. First of all, endurance is one of the basic components of physical activity, and the athlete should possess two characteristics for these activities: the muscular endurance and the cardiorespiratory endurance. What is muscular endurance? It's the ability of a muscle or group of muscles to repeatedly develop or maintain force without fatiguing, because the endurance activity are activities that have a long period of workout. And the cardiorespiratory endurance is the ability of cardiovascular and respiratory systems to deliver blood and oxygen to working muscles. So the person or the athletes who possess a good cardiorespiratory fitness and muscular endurance will be able to perform a high intensity activity for a longer period of time. The endurance is important to almost all athletes because all sports are involved and involves an activity, an aerobic or an endurance activity. And the endurance activity example for the endurance athletes is the athlete who participates in sports involving continuous activity for 30 minutes to 4 hours and involving large muscle group. And the ultra endurance activity are the athlete who is engaged in an extremely long continuous activity, so for at least more than 4 hours. For example, the ultra marathoners. Concerning the energy expenditure, endurance athletes expend a high number of calories during competition, and not only during competition but also in their preparatory training. And their energy expenditures can increase to 6,000 to 8,000 calories per day. And this huge amount of calories is for the replenishing all the stores, glycogen and muscles, and for the overall health. And the failure to maintain adequate dietary intake for nutrients can quickly result in fatigue and dehydration, increased risk for illness, injuries, and muscle wasting. So, our focus is on energy intake and composition of the diet. Now, what energy system are utilized or used during endurance exercise? For sure, the three energy systems, the phosphagen, the anaerobic, and the aerobic system. But the primary energy system in these activities is the aerobic system. With appropriately designed training programs, the aerobic energy system of muscles can be improved, and the athlete is able to have a more ATP production. So, and here I want to define the aerobic power. It's the rate of aerobic ATP production, and it's usually represented by the fastest pace or rate of physical activity. So it's the highest peak oxygen uptake that than the athlete can obtain during a dynamic exercise using a large group of muscles. So a well-trained individual have a high velocity movement for hours, and the untrained individual have fatigue after several minutes. So here we can see the different types of sports from the anaerobic that use the anaerobic system, and then, for example, like the ice hockey, tennis and soccer use 70 versus 30%, 70% anaerobic and 30% of aerobic activity. And then we have the swimming, 50-50, the ratio, and the boxing. And then we have the rowing, the running, the cross-country running, and the marathon that use more and more the aerobic system and the marathon use 100% of aerobic activity. So are total energy needs for endurance athletes different from energy need of other type of athletes? For sure, the needs of the endurance athletes are higher than the regular athlete. The energy consumption will increase with the energy expenditure. So the burned calories is two to times more than the regular athlete. So how we can calculate the energy, the daily energy for endurance activity? We have the table of the formulas for the calculation of the energy, and here we have an athlete called Bill is a 35-year-old marathoner who runs 60 to 80 miles a week. So his weight has been stable at 140 pounds for the last 12 months, so during the last year, and using the equation presented in the table and the following in the next slide, we have this formula to calculate the energy. So the daily caloric needs for Bills is 11.6 times the body weight plus 879. So first of all, we convert the 140 pounds into kilograms, and then we put this weight, the 63.6 kilograms, in the formula, and we will obtain here 1,616 calories, and then we will multiply this number of calories by the activity factor. For the endurance athletes, the activity factor is 1.6 to 2.4. Okay, so the total calories need is between 2,587 calories to 3,880 calories per day. This is the table of the resting energy expenditure that show us the different formulas according to the gender and to the age. So here in this case, the difference between the upper and the lower intake of calories is 1,293 calories. So in the hard workout days, the athlete should the intake of the athlete should be between 3,600 calories and 3,900 calories per day, and during the day, the rest and recovery days, this athlete will consume 2,500 to 2,800 calories per day. And for sure, we will adjust every meal and every calculation according to the athlete. Here for these athletes, also we have the complaining about the feeling of fullness and not being able to comfortably add more calories to meet the needs. So a strenuous effort during training or competition tends to decrease their appetite and causing the athletes to eat small meals and to not reach the right amount of calories per day, because 5,000, 6,000 or 8,000 is a huge number to achieve per day, especially when the athlete practice an endurance activity, so a long duration activity. So these athletes in these situations are looking for quick, easy, and nutrient-dense ways to increase their calories while enjoying their food and not spending all day in the kitchen. So meal plans, and this is our job, meal plans should be created that fit the daily schedule of the athlete and incorporate nutrient and calorie dense meals and snacks that are within the athlete's cooking and preparation skills. So now moving from the energy, why balancing macronutrients, and what are the macronutrients that we should balance? For sure, we should balance the protein, carbohydrate, and fat to have a better performance. Because if we increase only the calories, we will have some deficiencies. If we increase only the carbohydrate and the fiber-rich food, so the athlete can suffer from feeling of fullness and bloating. If we only balance the protein and we increase the protein-rich food, we will neglect fully replenish glycogen stores, and the storage, a good storage of glycogen is too important for these athletes. And if we have or if the athlete consume a fat-rich food, so he will suffer from delayed gastric emptying, sense of fullness, and stomach cramps and diarrhea. That's why we should to balance the caloric intake and the quantity of macronutrients intake per day. This is a table that shows us a sample meal plan providing 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 calories per day. We will start with the 3,000 calories per day. At breakfast, we have 2 cups of raisin bran, 1 cup of skimmed milk, and 1 banana. At the lunch, we have 4 ounces, so it's of turkey and cheese sandwich, 6 ounces of low-fat yogurt, 1 plum and 1 apple. During the workout, we have 20 ounces of sports beverages, sports beverage, and post-workout snack we have a sandwich of peanut butter, chocolate milk, and at the dinner we have 2 cups of pasta with sauce, 6 ounces of chicken breast, 2 cups of steamed broccoli, and 12 ounces of skimmed milk. The total energy provided by this menu is 2,973 calories, and the total carbohydrate is 470 grams. So the percentage of the total carbohydrate here in this menu is 61%. And this is another table that shows us a meal plan with 4,000 calories with a percentage of carbohydrate 59%. And this is the third table that shows us a meal plan with 5,000 calories, also with a percentage of carbohydrate